So this stat from our week 1 preseason game is very, very concerning. So obviously week 1, it was, listen, it's the first time we're out there. Not everyone's going to be perfect. There's going to be some mess ups, It is what it is, right? But here's all the pressures last week. So all the quarterbacks and the percentage of the game that they were pressured in. Jordan Love did not play the whole entire game, but he sits at a 0% pressure rate, meaning we did not get one single pressure on Jordan Love last week. Which, again, he didn't play that much of a game, so I guess at the end of the day, it's not like the most horrendous stat in the world. So I was going through here, and I'm like, okay, well, where is Clifford at, right? Where's the big red dog? So let's see. Sean Clifford, 30%. Okay, so we got some pressure on him, right? Not the worst in the world. Definitely at least we got 30% on him. But then I thought, where do we sit? Like, where are we on this pressure rate of how much our quarterbacks are under pressure? Because at the end of the day, we did watch our quarterbacks in that game yesterday. Oh, sorry, last Friday, and they didn't look good, right? They looked very much like, okay, without Burrow, we're going to be absolutely destroyed. Well, okay, our first guy we have here, Trevor Siemian, at 32%. Well, this is kind of weird because wouldn't Jake Browning be near him? Because Trevor Siemian played the second half, with, of course, less of our backup play, more of our backup players, and obviously against less of a defense of the Green Bay Packers. So our first half backup offensive line, with, of course, Jake Browning under center, how bad was it? Because it looked bad, but then you realize, guys, he had the second most pressures in the NFL last week. The second most. The number one was Russell Wilson. Number two was Jake Browning. So when we were watching him last week, right? When it looked like our line was doing absolutely horrendous, they really were. And that's not even an understatement. They were doing that bad last week. I mean, 63% of the time, he was under pressure in some way. That's bad. That's very, very bad. And the fact that he actually did as good as he did in that game does speak a lot of volumes to how amazing, Jake Browning really is. Because to be pressured at a 63 percentile and still have a pretty decent average game. I mean, he had a better stat line overall wise than Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian had more yards, but better pass completions and QBR was actually Jake Browning in that game. And a lot of that could be that the fact that, he played with more of the second and third team guys, even though for the most part, would say Jake Browning played with the same guys Trevor Siemian played with. I think, really, honestly, there's probably nobody that maybe Trent Irwin a little bit, but I think Trent Irwin actually had his big catch with Trevor Siemian. So it's definitely something to take into this upcoming game versus Atlanta. Number one, we have to fix this crap right here. We cannot go into Atlanta and get past Atlanta with the fact of us being pressured at 63 percentile, for either of our quarterbacks. I don't care if it's our starters or our backups. We have to block better than 63% of the time our quarterback's under pressure. And same thing with Trevor Siemian. Even 33% I think is pretty normal for the preseason. I say 20 to 30%. That's pretty normal. And again, we got 30% on Clifford. That can't happen though. We got to get more pressure. And I think the biggest takeaway from this is kind of like a rude awakening, I would say, is that going into our next preseason game, we got to amp up this number. So whoever we're playing Desmond Ridder, who is going to be the starting quarterback. We cannot walk away from this preseason game with a 0% pressure rate. We got to get after him. We got to make him feel pressure so that, again, he throws interceptions, he makes mistakes, he messes up. Same thing with his backups, too. So the goal is going into this next preseason game, I'm going to tell you right now, is at least I want to see Desmond Ridder get pressured 15 to 20%. at least 15 to 20%. For his backups, we have to get that up to 45, 50, especially the fact that we're playing their backups, and our backups are actually pretty dang good on defense. Even though our starters are the most elite in the NFL, our backups are pretty dang good. They played pretty good last week, but we weren't getting pressures on the quarterback. So I definitely hope this week we can maybe get Jake Browning here down to around, again, 30, 35%. Same thing with Trevor Siemian, because we got to protect our quarterback. Now, even though, yes, these guys are backups, and you're like, well, this is not Joe Burrow. What happens when an injury happens to, one of our offensive linemen? The backups come in. And when the backups come in, what ends up happening? They have to protect Joe Burrow. So this all, it comes full circle in the end, guys. Everything goes full circle. So you have to make sure we protect, get the good offensive lineman, that this cannot ever happen again. This needs to, again, it's preseason week 1. As coach said, you know what, we'll scrap it up to that, and it is what it is. But moving forward, this is a really good point to look at and say, no, never again. So again, like I said before, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about this because I thought it was interesting and something we definitely need to work on. Still improving, still getting better, continue to work on. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.